Hello friends, welcome to UPSC Logics, and in this video we shall have a look at the pre-modern period. We will be dealing with one-liner questions in Buddhism, Jainism, haryankas, sisunagas, nandas, and the conquest of Alexander. So without wasting any time, let's begin. Which of the four Vedas make a clear reference to Rishabh and Arishnemi, the Jain Tirthankaras? It is the Rig Veda. What is Theravali? The second section of Jain Kalp Sutra containing the list of schools and their heads. Jinsena and Gunbhadra, authors of Mahapuran, lived in the court of Rashtrakuta king Amogvarsha. Tathagat in Buddhism means one who has attained the truth. Who was the famous dancer of Vaishali, whose hospitality was accepted by Buddha in preference to the Licchavi prince, Amrupali. Shariputra Karn, the oldest extant of drama of Sanskrit, was written by Ashvghosh, which Jain Tirthankara appears as an avatar of Narayan in Vishnu and Bhagavad Purans. Rishabhnath. Jain philosophy is also known as Syadvada. The famous Jain scholar Hemchandra was patronized by Kumarpal. Which of the six traditional schools of Hindu philosophy closely resemble the Jain philosophy? Samakhya. Which of the events in Buddha's life did not take place on a full moon day? Renunciation. Who was the first Thera or the head of Jains after the demise of Mahavir? Sudharman. Which Agnikul family was a patron of Jains? Solankis. Mahavir preached in Ardhmagdi. What is Mahabhinishkramana? The renunciation of worldly life by Buddha. Monarchical kingdoms first made their appearance during this period and were called Ganrajyas. The foothill of Himalayas was controlled by the Sakyas. Vajjayani Confederacy, which contained the tribes Licchavi, was in control of northern Bihar. The kingdom of Magda soon absorbed Vajjayani and Kosala to rule nearly whole of India. What was their capital? Patliputra. Short paragraphs on the tenets of Buddhism are known as Dignagyaka. Leader of the sect of Ajivikas was Mahakali Ghosala, who said that good deeds did not affect transmigration of the soul and man was guided by Niyati. Mahakali Ghosala. Who of the six teachers of Buddhism was a materialistic man and did not believe in immaterial categories in history of world thought? It was Ajit Kesakamblin. Who was the atomist and the professor of Hindu Vaisakha school? He had put a theory on atoms a full century before Democritus of Greece put forward a similar theory. It was Palenda Kathayan. Mahavir was also known by this name and the leader of the sect of Jains. It was Nigant Nagputta. The skeptic who denied the possibility of certain knowledge altogether was Sanjay Baltiputra, who wrote Ashdhyay Panini. Gehpati was not only used for the head of the house but also was a landowner. Gehpati was also known as Kutumbika. Village authority was vested in the Gamani. Which were the political centers in the pre-modern period? Hastinapur, Indraprasth, Ayodhya, and Achat. Political and commercial towns were Shravasti, Kaushambi, Vaishali, and Rajgiri. What was the name of the fortified town in the pre-modern period? Pura. Traders were Vaishyas who earned their living by cattle rearing, agriculture, and trade. It is mentioned in the Dharma Sutras. Panya Siddhi, or the right to be successful in trade, is mentioned in the Griha Sutras. What was the word used for traders? Shreshtin. What was the shopkeeper called? Papanika. What was the retailer called? Cray Vikray. What was the money investor called? Vashika. What was a small scale trader called? Vanya. A banker or investor was called Sethi Ganpati. Which of the six Mahanagars are mentioned in the Buddhist scriptures? Number 1, Shravasti, capital of Kosala. Number 2, Saketa, Kosala to Kausambi. Rajgiri, capital of Magad. Champa, capital of Anga, Kasi and Kausambi. Due to commercial importance, the following was shifted. Kosala, capital of Ayodhya, was shifted to Shravasti. Patliputra, capital of Magad, was shifted to Rajgir. What were the items of trade? Metals, which were iron, copper, silver, lead, then salt, textiles, and pottery. Which was the chief market for horses coming from Sindh and Cambodge? Kasi. What were the coins used during this period? It was the silver Satmana, silver Karshpan, Masha, and Kakni. What was the smallest denomination of coin? Ardhkakni. Cooperatives of craftsmen were called Shreni or Puga. The assistant to craftsmen and Das Britika were called Ante Vasika. Which Buddhist scripture lists the 16 Mahajanpadas? Anglitijra Nikaya. Who was the ruler of Vatsa, bank of Jamuna with capital Kausambi? It was Udayan. Who was the last ruler of Vatsa? Palaka. It was annexed to Avanti after that. What is the modern name of Avanti? It is called Malwa and it is on river Vetravati. Capital of Avanti was Ujjain and was ruled by Pradot Mahasen, who married Vasava Dutt, daughter of Udayan. It was annexed to Magad in the 4th century BC. Let us have a look at the history of the Haryankas. The first ruler was Bimbisar and he ruled from 547 to 495 BC. He consolidated his power and influence with matrimonial alliances. His principal queen was Kosala Devi, who was sister of Prasenjit of Kosala, and he got Kasi as dowry for this marriage. Second queen was Chelana. She was the daughter of a famous Lichavi chief, Chetka of Vishali. Then the third wife was Kema. She was a daughter of Madra of Punjab. He also undertook several military expeditions. He defeated Brahmdat, who was the ruler of Anga, and maintained friendly relationships with Pradyot of Avanti. He in fact even sent his personal physician Jivika to cure Pradyota of Avanti. It is not sure whether he was a follower of Jainism or Buddhism, and it is said he died a tragic death. He was starved to death by Ajatashatru, his son. Another theory says that he was poisoned by Ajatashatru. After Bimbisar came Ajatashatru. He ruled from 495 BC to 462 BC and followed a policy of conquest. So he declared war against his maternal uncle Prasenjit of Kosala. He married Vajra, the daughter of Prasenjit, and got Kasi back as dowry that was taken over by Prasenjit after the death of Bimbisar. He succeeded against powerful confederacy of 36 kingdoms and republican states under the Lichavi of Vishali. He was a follower of Jainism but later converted to Buddhism. He met Lord Buddha and confessed killing his father. His meeting with Lord Buddha is indicated in one of the scriptures of Barhat. So this is a question which often comes. Where is this meeting indicated? And it is in the sculptures of Barhat. The dynasty ruled for 166 years and only one name, that of Udayan, is noteworthy out of the Haryanaka dynasty. After the Haryankas came the Sisunagas. Sisunagas ruled from 495 BC to 462 BC. The founder of the dynasty, Sisunaga, was initially a minister of the last Haryanaka dynasty ruler, Nagdaska, and he ascended the throne after a popular rebellion. He also defeated Pradyot, who was the successor of Chand Pradyot, and annexed Avanti to Magda. His successor was Kalashok. Two most significant events during his reign were the Second Buddhist Council at Vaishali in 383 BC and the final transfer of capital to Patliputra. He was murdered by the founder of Nanda dynasty, Mahapadmananda. It is said Mahapadan was the last ruler of this dynasty who was killed by Mahapadmananda, but according to history books, it is Kalashok that was the last ruler. After the Sisunagas came the Nandas and they ruled for a short time of 23 years from 345 to 322 BC. The first ruler was Mahapadmananda and he also followed the policy of conquest. He got the empire by killing the last king Kalashok of the Sisunaga dynasty. He uprooted the Kshatriya ruling dynasties of North Indias like Kurus, Panchalas, Ishwakus, Asmakas and Sursenas. They were all annexed by him. The inscriptions of Hathigumta of Kharvela refer to conquest of Kalinga by ruler of the Nanda dynasty. The greatness and vastness of the Nanda Empire has been confirmed by several Greek scholars who visited with Alexander. He was succeeded by 8 of his sons, and Dhanand was the last ruler of Nandas who was ruling Magda at the time of Alexander's invasion. Let us have a look at few questions. Kosala was the capital of Ayodhya and later capital was moved to Shravasti. Ayodhya was ruled by Prasenjit. His sister was married to Bimbisar and it was a matrimonial alliance with Magad. Kasi was given as dowry. Prasenjit's daughter was married to Ajatshatru and the last ruler of this dynasty was Vidudaba, and after this the kingdom was annexed to Magad. Magad was founded by Jansangha and Brihadrat, but the real founders were Bimbisar and Ajatshatru. Capital of Magad was Rajgiri and it was later shifted to Patliputra. Bimbisar, who ruled from 547 BC to 495 BC, belonged to which dynasty? He belonged to Haryankas. What was the name of Bimbisar's wife, who was sister of Prasenjit as well? Kosala Devi. What were the names of the second and third queens of Bimbisar? Chelana and Khema. Bimbisar sent his personal physician to Pradyot Mahasen, ruler of Avanti. What was his name? Jivika. What was the period of rule of Ajatshatru, son of Bimbisar? It was from 495 BC to 462 BC. Ajatshatru's meeting with Gautam Buddha has been described in one of the sculptures at Bharhut. Who succeeded the Haryankas? It was the Sisunagas. Whom did Mahapadmananda, founder of Nanda dynasty, defeat to take over Magad? Kalashok of Sisunaga dynasty. Which all kingdoms were annexed by Mahapadmananda in the year 345 through 322 BC? They were Kuru, Panchalas, Ishwaku, Asmakas and Sursena. Who was Jivika? Bimbisar's personal assistant sent to Pradyot, ruler of Avanti, to cure jaundice. Who is considered to be the founder of Janpadas of Magad? Jarsang. The Ganrajya of Malas was annexed to Magad Empire by Ajatshatru. Avanti was annexed to Magad by Sisunagas. What was the other name of Lichavi? Vajis. Who was the founder of Haryanaka dynasty? Bimbisar. Which Magadhan ruler shifted the capital from Rajgir to Patliputra? Kakavarin. Which Magadhan ruler is said to have fallen in love with Amrapali? Ajatshatru. Who was the last Nanda ruler? Dhananda. Which of the Magda ruler is said to have committed parricide? Ajatshatru. The chronological order: Haryanakas, Sisunagas, Nandas and then the Mauryas. Which of the kingdoms were annexed by Bimbisar to Magad? Anga. Abhiras were the worshippers of Krishna. Udayan is related to Vatsa. The period between 600 BC and 300 BC is not known as Age of Buddha. Let us have a brief history of Alexander from 334 BC to 323 BC. He also followed a policy of conquest and by 329 BC had conquered whole of Persia and Asia Minor up to Afghanistan. He crossed Hindu Kush in May 327 BC and sent Hephaestion and Perdiccas to invade India. The ruler of Takshila sent his son Ambi to Bactria to assure support against Porva. The Battle of Hydaspes or Jhelum. This was fought between Porva and Alexander on the plains of Karsi, and over 12,000 soldiers were killed during this battle. He conquered till the Magadhan limits, and King Sambhuti of Kathakoi surrendered without a fight. He crossed Bias with the idea of conquering Magadha and later on dispatched one portion of the soldiers by sea under Nearchus. He died in Babylon in 323 BC at the age of 33. This question is often asked, that who was the general under whom the soldiers were dispatched. So this was Nearchus. Let us have a look at some of the questions related to this. Who was the Persian emperor to conquer a part of India which became his 20th satrapy? That was Darius I. Where did Alexander cross the Indus to come to India? That was in Und. On his return journey, Alexander sent a part of his army by sea under the command of Nearchus. Which of the marks were found on the punch-marked coins of the period between 600 to 300 BC? These were hills, trees, and fish. By which year had Alexander conquered whole of Persia and Asia Minor? 329 BC. Whom did Alexander send to conquer India? Hephaestion and Perdiccas. When did he cross the Hindu Kush? 327 BC. When did Alexander ascend the throne? 334 BC from his father Philip. What river was known as Axines or Acassines? Chenab. What river was known as Hydaspes? Jhelum. What river was known as Hydrots? Ravi. Where did the battle between Porus and Alexander take place? Plains of Karsi. Who was sent as an ambassador by the king of Takshila to Bactria to assure Alexander? Ambi. Who deployed Indian contingent to fight in Greece? Xerxes. Who enlisted Indian soldiers to fight against Alexander? Darius III. So guys, this was a brief history on the pre-Mauryan era, dealing in haryankas, sisunagas, nandas, and the rule of Alexander. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and do like and subscribe to this channel if you're watching it for the first time. In case you're a regular subscriber, do not forget to press the bell icon for new videos from UPSC Logic. Thank you so much for watching, and Jai Hind.